as always, you two should, if you want to ask each other questions, jump in. Feel free. Don't wait to be called on.
Let me say that. Let me say, I don't,
Yeah.
I would like to see, as I think Mort would, Putin absolutely defeated and Ukraine absolutely victorious. But do I think that's realistic at this moment? I don't. What I want to see at this moment that's realistic is the maintenance of the sovereignty and independence of Ukraine on as much of its territory as possible. I think I think Zelensky would have been well advised. I suspect he was advised by people like Lindsey Graham. Take this agreement, gives the U.S. an economic stake in Ukraine, and then go from there. Security guarantees on paper are maybe a little bit overrated. Consider we have the Budapest Memo of 1994. What does it say? Ukraine gives up its nuclear weapons in exchange. Russia, U.S., Britain make a commitment to the territorial integrity of Ukraine. But it wasn't a treaty. It didn't say how it would be enforced. I think Zelensky is making a mistake to think what he needs is a signature on a piece of paper. I'd like to see him in NATO, be a great force in NATO. I don't think that's likely. So I think at this point, he should have taken this agreement. That would have been smart, bit his tongue and gone on, and then worked on. And then if you had European peacekeepers in Ukraine on the ground, that would be a sort of tripwire and a better security guarantee, as well as U.S. businessmen and miners on the ground. I think you have to be realistic about this a little bit, even though I'm 100% with Mort about what the justice would be. There's also what you can get done.
What he can get done depends on what Trump is prepared to do. The Russians can't stop Trump from adding to the agreement that we will defend the territorial integrity of Ukraine beyond the borders that agreed, that we will intervene if Putin breaks the ceasefire. That is not for Putin to decide. It is for the American people to decide and the American government to decide. And I think Zelensky must have concluded, as I think anybody would listening to Trump talk today, that Trump was not going to give him any of that. And that you say he should sign the agreement and then move on. But I think when he signs the agreement, he gives up the only leverage he now has. And
he doesn't have any leverage now, Mort. That now he just lost his leverage. And I'm very worried that this will be a kind of Afghanistan for the U.S. in that if Putin says, okay, now I don't have to worry about killing American miners. I don't have to worry about killing European peacekeepers. I can do whatever I want to do. I suspect that Putin wants a pause, not peace. I don't think Putin ever wants peace. Zelensky is right about that. But he may want to pause because his economy is in bad shape. His military is moving inches at great cost in lives. Not that Putin cares a lot about Russian lives. He may want to pause. When he gets that pause, will he try to build back his military better? Possibly, but then that's the time to give Ukraine the deterrent capabilities it didn't have 3 years ago. Ukraine could use a pause as well at this point. Again, I'm not a realist school guy, but I do think that having if Trump had said to Putin, I've now got an interest, and it's the natural resources, untapped by the way, of Ukraine, and they're going to use that to buy weapons from me. I need you, Putin. Now, I've been flattering to you. I've been nice to you. I haven't made you look like a loser. I've been good to you, but now you got to say you're going to go for a ceasefire, and then we'll talk from there about lifting sanctions on you. Maybe you want that. Maybe we can get you back in the G8. Maybe you want that, but you're going to cease firing because I said you would, and now you will.
But
again, Trump is a deal maker, not a diplomat, and not a political thinker.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
Well, I'm not sure because the political thinkers haven't succeeded in Afghanistan, in Iraq. They haven't succeeded over and over again. This is true. It was true that this was the card Zelensky had to play, and he folded instead. And unless somebody can get the relationship between Ukraine and U.S. back on track, Ukraine's in bad shape, and that's bad for the U.S. and good for Russia.